crypto, Pinto Man. I mean, a lot of the folks out here that, like D, I know a few of the Raiders have kind of taken a step back. I've talked to Sammy actually on the last VC, a lot, Sailor Sammy, she was a major part of a lot of the raids. She got burnt out, but she told me she's close to getting back in. She's just doing a lot of family stuff with her kids and stuff. And, obviously it's tough to, this is a CTO, right? There's no paid dev, there's no team wallets, no one allocated 10% of the supply to utilize to pay raiders or pay mods to constantly work in the chat. Everybody's working for their own bags. There is really, at the end of the day, really no real team lead. Now we're all play our part. We all play a role as part of the OG, nostalgia of what it meant to bring Dogs of Elon from where it was on ETH from 5 to 250 million. And honestly, that's the lore. That is the I guess you could say the pathway to what success could look like for us here. But the difference is we're doing it, 100% boots in the ground, members of the community, bag holders, working for themselves. So shout out to everyone here listening to the replay or here with us live. Obviously, we're a small group, and that's okay. I'm actually not too concerned about that. But it is what it is, and we start off slow. Things have kind of slowed down because we've been in kind of in a stalling point when it comes to the NFT mint. But guys, we're actually very, really close. In fact, technically speaking, the NFT migration and the NFT public mint process has been completed. So, in all essence, if we're talking about, if we're relating this to a car, the car's already been built. The engines, the key has been turned. The ignition starts. The engine starts. They've done a test drive, hitting the gas pedal, and it's moving, meaning that the minting process has worked to a certain degree. The only I don't want to call it an issue, but it needs to be tested multiple times by different people. I'm actually in the middle of testing it myself. I've run into just a slight issue when it comes to the interface, the UI they've created, the actual page that's created. That's going to be an extension of the dogsofelon.io. They actually created a page where you can actually go in and mint your NFT through the migration process. But it's a smooth process. The only part that's clunky is some of the last steps when it comes to actually paying for the gas fees and the minting costs to get your NFT minted to migrate it over. So anyway, it's already built. The car's been built, the engine's starting, the ignition, turns, and we're test driving the pedals. We're seeing if it works. Essentially it does. We just need more tests done. I'm anticipating that we shouldn't be waiting more. I mean, technically speaking, I potentially could launch this, and this is why I posted the poll in the chat. Everyone, please participate in the polls. We are literally, when I say we, the individuals that control the green button where they press it to make everything go, they're literally taking everything right. And the polls really dictate exactly how this is going to work when it comes to the cost of the NFT migration, to the NFT pack mint cost, to the migration period, which we already voted on. We said 48 hours to, what the cost of the NFT pack will be, which, it was voted on to be $100 to $120. These polls actually do count. And we have two more polls. The two polls that we need to really finalize everything, besides the testing, I should say, are number one, what is our intention for how soon we want to start the migration clock, which is 48 hours before the actual public mint. Now, ideally, we want to start the migration on a Monday, and then launch, have it launched 48 hours later on a Wednesday, and really come out strong. Or do we do more of a silent, or I don't call it a soft launch, I should say, and then wait till the new year to really make that big marketing push. Nonetheless, everyone's pretty much decided that they want this mint to happen sooner than later. The question though is when. So I did list, 2 or 4 different periods, with 2 dates on each option that correlates to a 48-hour migration period, and then public mint to happen right after that. So I saw some of the conversations in the chat. Yendo, you kicked it off. Would it be bullish to have a public mint the day before Christmas Eve? Now, traditionally, we've always say, hey, volume is slow, people aren't looking, people are busy and shit. But does that matter? Maybe it will be bullish if there was an announcement, a Christmas Eve special, to own an NFT for Christmas or to gift an NFT. That could be a really strong narrative, actually. I honestly didn't even consider it. I personally wrote it off as like that week's going to be shitty. Everyone's going to be busy, but they're not busy every day, and people don't stop hunting for gold mines of opportunities to ape into something that could potentially exponentially grow over time, whether it's an NFT or a token. So yeah, I mean, there are some options there. There's an argument for it. You could even say December 29th could be, and then a New Year's Eve mint, could have the same type of effect when it comes to creating some bullish momentum going into the new year. So there's a couple different, what was that? Well, okay, so there, sorry, we've got our dog coming in here. But yeah, so again, the poll is what matters. If you want to share your thoughts about it, this is a perfect time to do it. With those that are actually here present, having a voice, your voice could definitely convince others who listen to the replay or here right now that to decide one way or another. The cool thing about the poll is that you can choose what you think, but you can always change it. I will close the poll. My goal is to close it, by Monday, both of these polls, so that we have basically 48 hours Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, end of day or sometime midday, I should say, before we finalize it. So that's poll number 4. The last one is a redo of an earlier poll where we were trying to determine the number of NFTs that we would migrate and mint in the community community wallet. Now I said it before I started recording. As a CTO, there was no team wallets. There was no project tokens that were held, to the side that give us the leverage to use for giveaways or to use as a tool for marketing. All we really just have that $4,000 in SOL, and of course the future minting fees that would end up going in there. But the NFTs is probably that one leveraging tool that we have to use for giveaways, to use for rewards, to use for KOLs. We have right now roughly 50 NFTs, approximately 50 NFTs in the community wallet possession. That what I was told from Prash is that it could be migrated over without actually having to mint, from what I was told, which is totally fine. So we could just use 50 and then use those current 50 and utilize those. But, and then if we needed more, we could actually mint NFT packs from the marketing wallet that get dropped into the marketing wallet if we needed it for additional NFTs. The danger in that, and I'm not saying this because I think it's not, that it will happen or not happen, but what if the NFTs sell out, right? Which would be a good thing, actually, because that means our marketing wallet's like fat. That means the NFT push organically, worked really, really well. But do we get ahead of it? Do we say, let's migrate / mint 200 NFTs, just that's like 2% of the full supply. And do we get 2% of the NFT supply so that we can have that in our possession and utilize for, again, marketing, rewards, community rewards, announcement, or sorry, participation rewards, or KOLs, or even leaderboards, right? Because that there's the potential, not potential, but the build out for the game to use as a competitive landscape for people to earn something. In the past, again, because of we had some DOE tokens in possession of, actually a pretty sizable amount of DOE tokens in the past that that were inherited from the previous team that I was a part of. We were easily able to, give away $50, $100 worth of DOE, have a prize pool of $500, as a giveaway for people to earn as a part of a leaderboard competition. We don't have that. There is no, we don't have a wallet, with 10 million tokens in it. So all we have is the soul, and the soul that we spend and use, and then that's it. Otherwise we're raising it through the mint, or we're raising it through donations from the community. So again, I know it's a long-winded explanation of why it matters. Those were the two top options. In fact, they were evenly percentage-wise. They tied. So that's why I ended up reposting or redoing the poll with just two options to choose from. So yeah, both of those polls are live. Check it out, guys. We'll close the poll, probably sometime on Monday. Give the weekend till tomorrow, and Monday let people know, hey, answer the poll, please. Last but not least, I started a Dogs of Elon announcement channel. This is important because I know that our main message board of our community can get clogged up with a lot of pinned messages and a lot of shit that could muddy up, especially when there's like a launch, right? When there's a launch,